Hello, Namaste. This is Trishna, and today we'll be talking about episode 4 of When Life Gives You Tangerines. So, the episode starts with patriarchy. Asen has had her first child, who is a girl, and now the family wants a boy. So, they are the grandmother and the mother of Guanshik are telling her to do squats and pray to God for a boy, and they're also throwing red beans at her. I don't know, shaman ways. So that happens, and then Esun is kind of sick of it, but she cannot do anything. She has accepted this life that she has around her, like for her baby and for Guanchik, and now she is yes, the tortured daughter-in-law. And then we shift to another scene, which is Guanchik's stepmother's wife, the new wife that he had gotten. She has had a baby, and they are planning to shift to the mainland somewhere and take her two kids, Esun's, I think, like half brother and sister. She's also taking her. Earlier, we had seen in earlier episodes that they do not really like each other much. However, since years have gone by, now they are on like better terms, I would say. Esun is even helping them to pack things up for shifting. And so we see this friendship kind of thing blooming within them, in which they do like clear up things about the past, and the tension between them resolves, and now they are on kind of friendly terms, which is nice because we love women supporting women. So that happens. Next scene is so now that Asun has helped her and they are on good terms, so Asun's bicycle that she had uh, when she was young, okay, now that they are on better terms, there's this bicycle that Asun's stepfather's wife has in her house, and she's like, "You can take it if you want. I'm gonna throw it anyways." So like this is given as a gift, and Asun brings her home, and she's very happy. She says that I'm gonna teach bicycle to my daughter, but again the family is like, girls don't ride bicycles. What do you mean? Women can't ride. Women are not made for that, low IQ, weaker mind, made for the house, made for cooking. Women are not made to drive. So Asun is dejected and angry and frustrated, and she, you know, fights and demands that her daughter learns to Guanchik, obviously, because that family does not listen to her. In the middle, we also see some scenes where we see how they have left their dreams behind, and are now trying to adjust in this new parenthood, like slightly older parenthood, wherein they have totally forgotten about what they wanted to be before. As soon is now a total housewife. She still doesn't know how to cook, but she tries, and she constantly hear taunts from her mother and mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law, but she tries. Her books are still there. Her poetry books are there. College admission letters there, but those are collecting dust and not going anywhere. So we can see dreams being left behind. Esun's husband Guanchik is now a fisherman who also has forgotten about his, aim that he had of, becoming a runner. So that is gone now. They are poor, and they are working, and they are parents, and they have forgotten about their dreams. Uh, so can be seen in a very bad light. However, they find the happiness with their daughter and with each other. So all is good. Now we shift back to present time. In the present time, we see our narrative has shifted from Aeson to Aeson's daughter. Now she is kind of narrating the story. Aeson's daughter has a boyfriend who is from a rich, influential family, the conglomerates, I think. And she is now to meet up with this boy's mother, and they are having dinner. And she and the mother's like, "You're so poor. Oh my God. We did not associated poor paper. Oh my God. And why did my son choose you? I don't know. Yeah. And you will not be working after, after you get into a family." So things like that. And Essen's daughter is like, "Stop. My mother had taught me," no, she doesn't say this, I am telling you this, that all the values that Isun has had, that she had got from her mother about education and having self-respect and not tolerating BS, Isun's daughter has the same qualities. They were passed down. She's like, "I'm gonna work with all due respect, future mother-in-law, F off." Uh, that happens, and the mother's like, "We want only tamed, nice plants in our house and not the wild ones." Like, yeah, analogy now, women are plants suddenly. Okay, so that happens, and then we see Asun's daughter talking to her boyfriend and saying that, "Boy, I don't need you, okay? Tell that to your mother. It's okay if I don't marry you, but she cannot disrespect me and my dreams like that. I have goals, I have aspirations. I want to be the CEO. I want to be the president someday of some company or like the nation, I don't know. But yeah, I have dreams and I am not forfeiting them for your mother or your family's reputation and all." So, and she cuts the call and she's stressed now. Mm-mm. Then the narrative shifts back to the past. We see Esun learning to cook for this household. Then suddenly the grandmother-in-law comes and says that, "Give your daughter her blessings." And then Esun comes and sees this prayer happening. The prayer was for Esun's daughter. They want, like, these people wanted to make her a sea diver. This was like her initiation ceremony, and this kid is like hardly 8 years old, and it's like, "No, no, no, grandmother-in-law, no. My mother died because of sea diving, and she told everybody and had promised me that I will never learn sea diving, and I will make sure that my daughter will never learn sea diving." And they have a fight. The mother-in-law kind of beats Jason up with the, and then Guanchik comes in and sees this, that his baby girl is getting hurt, and so he comes, takes a stand, says that, "You will not be hurting my wife or my daughter. I am leaving this effing family." And so they get out of there. My man Asun, my man Guanchik stands for his wife Asun, which is he is a very timid, mild-mannered person, and he never goes against his family. But for her, he is willing to do that, and so he is now against the family, and they are leaving the household, and they shift to this small room that they have where rent is due by 3 months, and somebody magically pays their 3 months ka rent. I think, they think that it is Asun's stepfather's newer wife, because now that they were like friendish. And yeah, she was a nice person. Even when she stole, like, they ran away when they were younger and got married and went to the mainland, Guanchik and Asun, and Asun had stolen her dress. So like she was kind of chill about it, and she was laughing, this woman. So I think that, like, she may not be that bad of a person, and like turns out she is not that bad of a person. She has accepted the stepkids as her own and is trying to make a happy life for them. So yeah, congratulations to her. We love women bonding. So the rent is paid and they are relieved. Then we see one day Vanshik has come up with an injury to his hand, and Asun is very worried, and she asks that what happened, and he's like just some accident at the work. And then we come to know that our poor Guanshik is working for that boatman. You know, that disgusting pervert guy, that boatman. He like owns all of the boats there, so there's no other way. If you want to be a fisherman, you have to work for him, and so Guanshik has to work for him, and this man hates Guanshik. Okay, so anytime he is constantly abusing him. And when that accident happened, there was a chance that they had this chance to turn back and go to the hospital immediately. However, this man refuses. And yeah, so the injury got worse, and now he is left with broken fingers. And Asun is angry, so she goes to his house, and we see that this man has married another girl who is also a young girl, by the way. And we can see that her lip is busted. So uh, so there's also some history of domestic violence going in the household. And Asun has also seen in the previous night that Gonchik also has wounds on his legs because this bitch of man decided to abuse him. So now Asun is angry, but the wife cannot do anything. She's also a victim. So Asun leaves from there. There we see this boatman again abusing Guanshik, and the people there, the fellow fishermen. We see them, firstly trying to, say, "Ki, don't be like this. He's just a younger boy. Be more gentle with him." But this man just, cuts them off and then starts abusing Guanshik again. And Guanshik is like, "I am done," because Asun's values of self-respect has gotten with Guanshik too. He has also inculcated them, and he is also kind of against injustice. The rent was due. That is why he was working so hard here. However, now that the rent is managed, so he can kind of leave this work and sort something else to work on. So he says that no, I am resigning. I am going. Bitch, bye. And he is deciding to leave. And yeah, about the fisherman community. The fisherman community, unlike the diver women community, is different because the diver women are so uh, united, and they try to help all these women in need. Any injustice that is happening, all of these gather, all of these try to do something. Whereas the men, fishermen, they are like saying it once and then shh. So that is the difference that I saw. Once again, shout out to the diver women community. I love you guys. Okay, so now Aganshik is quitting and he leaves, and just like he's leaving, this man fumes up, and then he starts abusing Vanshik and beating Vanshik. And there we see Asun, who is pregnant, by the way, with her second child, comes running, running. And we see some flashbacks and montages there for all the times Vanshik has been bullied and Asun has come running to rescue him. So here Asun is again the superwoman that she is, rescuing our Vanshik boy. She comes up there and gets in his face and like, "Do not abuse my husband, you fucking bitch," and back off. And we are leaving. He's quitting. We do not need you, and we don't want to see your face. And so they leave. And this man again abusing He constantly abuses again Guanchik. But when he says something about Asun, uh, Guanchik, like the protective boy that he is, decides to turn and like you know react and say something or do something. However, even before that, only Asun turns worse and then slaps him hard. Yes, and kicks him, and yes, this man, this loser, yeah, totally deserve that and much more. But yeah, that was very satisfying moment for us. Yes, we see our Eason rescuing Guansik, and then they go off with their noses held up high because they are, uh, you know, people with self-respect. Uh, there was also a scene in the present time where Asun's daughter and Asun have this conversation where the daughter is stressed and Asun tries to, cheer her up, and the daughter snaps at her. Uh, and Asun is like chill. Guanshik is outside actually for some work. And Asun cleans up her shoes and says that you have a lot of shoes. Why do you buy them? And that was a very relatable moment where the daughter says that I have grown up in poverty. I have not seen many things being given to me. I was told not to ask for a lot of things. Uh, I mean, like, not told. I was supposed to not ask for a lot of things because you guys cannot afford it. So now that I have money, even the shoes are cheap, I would want to buy them and I would want to keep them for myself. So yeah, fighting against poverty with capitalism. But yeah, that was a relatable movement for me and for a lot of other baby girls too, I'm sure. And we see the daughter feeling guilty because now that she has snapped at her mother, who had like done nothing wrong here. She was just asking simple questions. But like we know as viewers how much they have struggled to raise her, how much they have struggled to give her proper education and good food and just a healthy environment to live in. So yeah, moral of the story was parents do a lot for their kids, and kids sometimes fail to appreciate it. Uh, and when maybe they become parents, they will share the same story of them struggling and their children's not listening. So it's a cycle kind of thing. But yeah, parents work hard. Shout out to all the parents.